Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. I'm happy to have on the bench today one of the classic British computers from the 80s, and this is ORIC 1, introduced back in 82 by Tangerine Systems in the UK, and it was actually an attempt to follow ZX Spectrum's success. The computer did well in the beginning. 82-83 sold more than 200,000 units in Britain and France alone, and it was quite a success based around the 6502 CPU running at this imaginary great speed of 1 megahertz, but it was capable of delivering 40 to 48 kilobytes of RAM available to the user, although the machine had used to have 64 kilobytes, but the 16K used by basic ROM. A nice machine, good looking machine. I will take off the screw, the cover and the screw, so we can get peek inside. Nothing is missing, I believe. You can find an RGB port, you can find expansion port, TV, printer port, and all you could ask for back then. So the keyboard is not the best you could find. That was a drawback, but later, with the introduction of ORIC Atmos, the successor to ORIC 1, this problem has been solved. And this is how it looks from the inside. For those who know, it looks like ORIC Atmos. It is the same motherboard. The purpose of this video today is for me to change the voltage regulator, because this is what happens. For the most part, this machine is very reliable, but the voltage regulator fails. In this case, it's the 7905 instead of the well-known 7805, and as you can see, there is no signal when the machine is powered up. But this is something I'm going to be doing on the side. Purpose again is to show ORIC Atmos on the screen and say little things about the machine and how it made it back in 82-83, and what happened ever after its introduction, and the way it was replaced by ORIC Atmos. Oh, and I forgot to show you how easy it is to get under the hood. 6 screws, top side, bottom side, to be removed, and simply have to facing down, the computer facing down. You simply have to raise the back cover, and that's it. You got under the hood simply like this. You can see the big space where the speaker is, so you can have the sound. That's an interesting point. The sound was actually based around the famous AY38912 chip sound generator by General Instruments. It was the same chip used on the Amstrads, the MSX computers, and Atari STs. That was quite impressive and effective ultimately. So again, back to the point, I'm going to remove the heatsink here. I have a new 7905. I'm going to place another heatsink on top of that to keep it cooler, because it gets very hot, believe me. So I'm going to be replacing the voltage regulator, since we have the chance to open and work on this ORIC 1 today. This thing is really getting hot. Proper design should have a bigger heatsink placed in there, believe me. Now, except the impressive technology around the sound chip. Another impressive solution for the keyboard was this connector, this logic, and the way the keyboard was connected to the motherboard. Just a few screws. I'm just trying to see that everything is tight at this point. So this connector plugs actually the motherboard onto the keyboard with no need for this hectic membrane that the ZX Spectrum, QL, and everybody else used to have, or flexible wires or anything. You just have to connect the motherboard as a whole into this connector, and you got your keyboard ready without any damage to any ribbon cables or anything like membranes and stuff like that. It is a decent PCB, very well preserved, as you can see, and very well designed. This point, here's the speaker. At this point I have to remove the voltage regulator in order to put the new one. You can see the quality of the PCB, double-sided, very well preserved. Few things here indicate somebody must have done something around this variable resistor, which actually adjusts the screen image, but apart from that, it looks brand new. I'm going to put some alcohol and start cleaning the PCB. A few points that really need to be cleaned, obviously, but that's part of the maintenance process. I suggest you all do that, especially if you have an indication that somebody else has been soldering around there, previous owner or somebody. So you just go ahead and clean the parts that you might think there is dust or leftovers from flux or whatever particles might be there. I'm gonna do this quickly and get ready to replace the 7905 voltage regulator. Nothing else to do. Pretty much very happy with this purchase and the condition of this machine. This particular one is neat. The voltage regulator is there, and here is a picture of ORIC Atmos, the successor to ORIC 1, which actually introduced a proper keyboard finally and a better version for the ROM, marked as version 1.1, while ORIC 1 used to have the first and initial ROM version 1. But of course you can follow the link down below at the comments area, so you can see I'm gonna be doing exactly the same thing I went over with ORIC Atmos. Have removed the old voltage regulator, which is useless. There is the sign of thermal compound in between the regulator and the heatsink, which is not good enough. So I'm gonna be putting another heatsink which fits just right into the old one. So I think it's gonna be better. And yeah, I have followed the same process over ORIC Atmos the other day. I'm gonna put the new 7905 regulator in place and be done with this. You can see some non-conductive material at the bottom. I'm gonna be done soon, hopefully, with this maintenance over the ORIC 1 today. Again, a new heatsink inside the old one for better results, and the new voltage regulator on top, and that will be hopefully all for today. Again, the purpose is to take a look around the ORIC 1, and now that I think of it, why don't we just take a look on the real thing. I found my ORIC Atmos somewhere along with the manual. This is the model I've been repairing the other day. I have replaced already the voltage regulator on this ORIC 1, so I think we're good to go. Yeah, those are both machines from Tangerine Systems. ORIC 1 introduced back in 82, ORIC Atmos introduced back in 83. Actually, it was the time when Tangerine sought out for some funding, and eventually led to sale to Eden Spring Investments. So Eden Spring money have been invested on the development of ORIC Atmos. Atmos has been produced and licensed in Yugoslavia back then, and developed under the name of Nova 64. The clones were identical. The hardware was fully compatible with Atmos, and an interesting model was the Pravets 8D, which was actually the Bulgarian Atmos clone. Several investors and several attempts have been made to rescue Tangerine from bankruptcy, and one of those has been back in 85, the Eureka Informatique from France, which actually was the developer of the ORIC Telestrat. But anyways, ORIC never made it to eternity. I believe those machines, and this one in particular, a small size compact machine, overall beautiful machine, was here to stay, a milestone to computing history already. As for the British part, at least. So I'm happy to have this one in my collections restored. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be catching you soon with another video. Remember, you can always subscribe if you will. We'll be reviewing, fixing stuff around here whenever there is some time available, and we'll be reviewing also machines from the past. Thanks for watching again, and yeah, I'll be catching you soon with another video, another console from that era, another computer from that era, whatever comes into the lab for restoration purposes. Remember, you can send over your donations to the channel. I'll be reviewing the donations as soon as possible, and if something is needed, I'll be fixing the stuff online, so that everybody can see, that everybody can tell how technology used to be, and how these has helped us to be the ones, the technology enthusiasts we are today. Thank you, bye.